Edu-Magicians, welcome to the Edu-Magic Podcast with your host, Dr. Sam Fessich. Dr. Sam is a professor of education, author of Edu-Magic, and a pumpkin spice latte fan. This podcast is designed for pre-service teachers. Remember, friends, teaching doesn't begin at graduation, but during that first class at 8 a.m. Let's get this party started.
I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Kathy from the Kindergarten Kiosk Podcast, a part of the Education Podcast Network, just like the show you're listening to now.
Shows on the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect those of others.
Find other interesting education podcasts at edupodcastnetwork.com.
Hello, Edu-Magicians, and welcome back to another episode of the Edu-Magic Podcast. My name is Dr. Sam Fessich, and today I have a great guest with us today. Her name is Melinda Thomas, and she is the founder of New Teachers Connect. She's going to be sharing her story during our chat today. I also have a segment with Katie Gibson, who is the co-author of Edu-Magic Shine On, a guide for new teachers, and she's going to be sharing a little bit about a tech tool called Bitmoji. I think you guys have heard of it, and she's going to share about how she uses it in her classroom. So stay tuned to hear more from Katie. But right now we have Melinda, who's going to be sharing all about the New Teachers Connect group and the power of connecting as a new educator. All right, let's listen in. Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Edu-Magic Podcast. My name is Dr. Sam Fessich, and today I am joined with the amazing Melinda Thomas. Melinda and I met a couple weeks ago on social media, and she runs a community for new teachers. So if you're a new teacher this fall, if you just graduated in May, turn up the volume. We got tips and strategies, an amazing resource just for you today. Melinda, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. This is so exciting.
I'm so excited to have you here. And now, before we talk about New Teachers Connect, can you share about your teaching story? What led you into the journey of education?
So it's actually kind of a funny story. I didn't grow up thinking I want to be a teacher. So I should start there. When I was in college, I actually was pursuing psychology because I knew I wanted to help people. So I thought psychology would be the best route to go. During that time, I was taking a course that I wasn't doing the best in. And so I went to my professor and I noticed that he had a long line of students waiting for his assistance. So I told him, I said, okay, if you can focus on helping me, then I will help these other students who need help with their course. So while he was assisting me in improving my grade, I was working with some other colleagues, I guess in a way tutoring them. Yes, so I think it was maybe like once, twice or so a week, I was meeting with them. And it started off with like maybe 2 or 3 of my colleagues. And then it just continued to grow. And as it continued to grow, I was noticing that it was starting to click for them. They were starting to understand it. They were starting to get excited about the course they were in because it started to make sense for them. And one of the young ladies that was there asked me, why are you doing this? You know, you could be doing anything else. And that's when it really clicked for me that I love doing this. I love seeing other people grow. I love educating people. I love seeing them go from, I don't know how to do this to, it makes sense to me. So it was literally in that moment when I said, education is the direction that I need to go in. That is how I'm going to help people. I changed my major, everything, and I have not looked back since then. I won't say what happened to the course. That was an embarrassing story, but I will say that I'm so glad that I made that decision because it was in that moment I fell in love with education.
I love that story, Melinda. I was getting goosebumps as you were sharing it, and your talk about the joy of seeing people grow and
Yes.
learn. I wonder if that leads us into our next question about New Teachers Connect. Can you share about what it is? How do we join? Why should we join? Give us all the details, or how kids these days say, spill the tea on New Teachers Connect. Give us all the stuff.
I can definitely spill all the tea for you,
There you
Sam.
go.
So it actually does coincide very well how New Teachers Connect started. So New Teachers Connect is a support group for new teachers, tenured teachers, and anyone who's really passionate about education. But we do concentrate on new teachers. And the reason being is because it was actually started when I was a new teacher. Yes, my first year teaching, I had a lot of anxiety. And the anxiety came from, starting a new profession, this being my first career, being out of college and everything like that. And so, I thought to myself, if I'm having all of these feelings, of just anxiety, just, I wouldn't say being afraid, but just being, well, I can say that. Just being afraid of just jumping into something new. I thought I must not be the only one who feels this way. So that's how New Teachers Connect started, because I saw it as an opportunity for me to connect with other teachers who can say, hey, I'm scared too, but we can get through this together. And it started on the idea of, we can support each other. We can grow together through this. So that's how it started as a new teacher, and it's grown since then. As I said, we support new teachers, tenured teachers, anyone passionate about education, because I technically am not a new teacher anymore, but I feel for new teachers because I once was a new teacher. And, let's face it, we all were new teachers at one point. So, yes. So, with that being said, I just love the opportunity to, work with new teachers. And not only that, we all need support. Whether you're a new teacher or tenured teacher, we all need support. Yeah.
That's excellent. I can hear the passion in your voice when you talk about supporting new teachers. Now, you mentioned you're not a new teacher now. So what are you currently doing? What's your role in education?
I am in the classroom. I've remained in the classroom through my whole career. So I am a first grade teacher, or I should say an elementary school teacher currently.
Yeah. Oh,
yes.
That's fun.
Yes.
Very cool. Now, for those of us who are listening, how do we get involved in New Teachers Connect? Where can we find this community that's thriving and supporting new educators as we enter our first year into teaching?
Thank you for asking.
Hey, I ask those good questions.
That's very good question, Sam. New Teachers Connect can actually be found on Instagram. It's at New Teachers Connect _IG. And of course, the IG stands for Instagram, just so you remember. So at New Teachers Connect _IG. And we are also on Facebook. On Facebook is where you can find our private Facebook group, also titled New Teachers Connect. Once you join the group New Teachers Connect on Facebook, that's where you'll have access to opportunities to serve in the community. We do fundraisers. Not only that, we love to shout out what our members are doing. Teachers are doing amazing things, not just in the classroom, but outside of the classroom. So our motto is serving beyond the classroom, because we recognize that we do great things every day, and we are able to serve beyond the classroom, like I said, through the community service events, through the fundraisers. And not only that, we want to promote our new teachers to take on those ideas that maybe as a new teacher, they may feel that they don't have the experience to do. We want to provide them with a platform to say, hey, we're here to support you. I'm here to say, hey, I was a new teacher that started New Teachers Connect, anxiety ridden, and then
Yeah.
we're still here today. So it's really like you said, you can hear it in my voice, and that's because it's something that I'm really passionate about. But yes, we definitely, once you join, we definitely want to provide our members with the platform, the opportunity to connect, and also promote themselves. So the group is really great with that.
That's awesome. And I love how your heart is just there for those new teachers and the power of connecting and networking with one another.
Yes.
Why do you think it's so important that as new teachers, whether we just graduated in May or maybe we're getting into our second or first year, why is it important to connect? Why do we need to do that as teachers? We know that teaching isn't an island. We're not hanging out on
Right.
our own island, closing our door anymore. We should have it wide open and sharing what we're doing. But I'd love to hear your perspective. What's the power in connecting and networking as a new teacher?
Well, you know what, Sam? I think it's funny that you say that. As far as we know that we're not an island, but the funny thing about that is that sometimes we feel like we're on an island.
Yes.
As new teachers, we come into the profession, thinking, I'm having these, areas of, I call them areas of improvement. I'm having
We
these,
all have them.
yes, I have these areas of improvement, and I'm afraid to say something. I'm afraid to seek the help that I need because I'm sure as a new teacher, I'm the only one. And I know exactly how that feels. As a new teacher coming in, I felt that. I felt as a new teacher, if I said I'm having trouble in this area or that area, then I would be looked at as maybe like the weak link, or I would
Mhm.
be looked at as possibly incapable of doing, this very challenging job, no matter how experienced or you are.
Mhm.
So I think that, the power of connecting is realizing that we're all in the same boat and we're all
Right.
thinking the same thing. We all have our fears. We all have our areas of improvement. And it's there's so much power in sharing with someone, hey, this is an area that I need support in, and that person saying, me too. I need help in that area too. And that makes you realize, wow, here I am thinking I'm on an island when we're all in this together. Not only that, speaking on areas of improvement, connecting with others allows you to receive that support that you need. Because where you might see it as an area of improvement, another person might see it as a strength for them. So when you
Mm.
are able to team up with other people, you're able to kind of, you know, uh, feed off of each other, your strengths, your areas of improvements, and you're able to, go after those innovative ideas that come with an ever changing profession. And so I think that's, just some of the great things. And you can gain another perspective, gain
Yes.
various solutions to a problem. You will find, whether you're an experienced teacher or a new teacher, that every year you get a new set of students. You get a new set of students, and every student is different. There's no one size fits all. So the
Mm-mm.
constant ongoing conversation of how do we meet this particular child where he or she is? This particular child um, is showing this these particular behaviors. How can I support this student so that way they're able to access the information as just as well as their peers? Having those discussions, you gain so many ideas as to how to approach it. Do you have to use every idea that you get? No, but you use what works, because you'll get a lot of ideas, a lot of
Yes.
opinions, but you use what works best for you. So I think that those are some great things that come with networking and connecting with others.
I agree. I love the coming alongside each other, supporting each other,
Yes.
encouraging each other,
Hmm.
challenging each other, maybe even when it comes to that. And then
Yeah.
like you said, we all have our areas of improvement. We all have our areas of strength, and we can
Yeah.
speak in and help someone out. And that's such a blessing when it comes to connecting and networking. Now,
Mm.
we're going to close out our conversation here, Melinda. Um, Before we close out, what are your go-to tips for new teachers? And if we can narrow them down to 3, what are your 3
Right.
go-to tips or strategies or things new teachers should be aware of as they begin their fall semester or fall class?
Well, first, let me say, Sam, again, thank you for this awesome opportunity to be on your platform. This has been
Thank
such,
you. This is great.
it's definitely, it's my pleasure, definitely. So, as far as tips along the way, you'll think of so many, but I'll try my best to narrow them down.
I know
narrow
it's
them down
hard.
to
It's hard.
3. So, my first tip would definitely be to find balance. I think as a new teacher, you become consumed with the job, and it's not because for any reason, but it's really just because you start to take what happens at work home. You get really close to your students. You get kind of a deeper insight as to kind of what goes on outside of school, and sometimes it's not pretty. So when you go home, you're thinking about that student. But it's important to have a balance, to know kind of when to say, okay, this is going to be the point where I focus on self-care. This is going to be the point where I focus on my family. This is going to be the point where I do something that allows me to decompress and be refreshed. Having that balance is what will give you the longevity in the field. We do work in a very stressful profession. There are great things that come with it. There are also stressful things that come with it. So having that balance will give you the longevity. My second tip would be, to reflect on your strengths and areas of improvements. Do not be afraid to, accept that this is an ongoing process. Some people say, oh, in my 5th year, that's when it all made sense to me and I was the best teacher in the whole wide world. For some people, it takes longer than that, and that's okay.
Yes.
Or some people might say, my first year, everything made sense to me and it was perfect. I've never heard that personally.
I have not either. I would have beat that teacher.
But if you ever find someone who says that, that's okay. Be happy for that person, that it clicks for them, and, continue to support them, but also recognize that you're on your own journey, right? So it's okay. It's okay. When it clicks for you, you can celebrate that, but also recognize that it's an ongoing journey. You're forever learning. And then the third thing is, in stressful situations, make sure to take a step back. Imagine yourself on the outside looking in. When you are looking from the outside, you're able to kind of see how you're handling the situation. Am I remaining calm? Am I saying or acting in a manner that if I saw myself, say, doing the same things, would I be proud of myself? And the reason why that's important is because when you're in the classroom, there's so many unexpected things that happen that are sometimes out of our control. So the most important thing is to always be mindful to have control of yourself. And 2, remember that you are an example, that your students are looking to you to know how they should handle situations and circumstances. So those are my 3 tips, Sam.
Those were deep tips, Melinda. My gosh, I feel like there could be an episode off of all 3 of those. And maybe there should be some follow-up episodes on those. That was fantastic.
Those are definitely my go-tos, yeah.
I want to focus in on one of the things you said. You said we're all on our own journey, and hopefully, I know after listening to this episode, we're going to have some new teachers bebop on over to New Teachers Connect Instagram as a part of their teaching journey. And just so we know it for one more time, can you share where we can find more information about New Teachers Connect, how we can join and learn more about this amazing dynamic community to support new teachers?
Of course. So you can find New Teachers Connect on Instagram at New Teachers Connect _IG. And you can also find us on Facebook, where we have our private Facebook group, New Teachers Connect.
Excellent. Melinda, thank you so much. I can't wait to get this episode out for my listeners.
Thank you.
Wasn't that a great conversation with Melinda? I know I learned a lot, and I'm excited to get into the New Teachers Connect group over on Instagram and to check out their Facebook page as well, just to start gaining those connections, asking those questions, and getting great resources. So just like I said in the beginning of our conversation today, I have a new segment. This one is featuring Katie Gibson, the co-author of EduMagic Shine On, a guide for new teachers. See the theme here? We got a new teacher vibe going here. And she's going to share ways that she uses Bitmoji in her class. So let's listen in on her ideas.
My name is Katie Gibson, and I teach middle school science and social studies. And an educator tool that I like to use, it's pretty basic, but I like to use Bitemojis. And for those of you who do not know what Bitemojis are, they became pretty popular on the social media app Snapchat years ago. And they are a way for you to kind of create your own self as a cartoon character. And the Bitmoji app allows you to do different like emojis per se, like of emotions and such, so that it can get really creative. So in the past, before the situation we are in, I have my own Bitmoji that's on my classroom door when the students enter, which is really fun because the kids kind of get this first connection when they come to my classroom, like, oh my gosh, my teacher has a Bitmoji. What? Like I said, I work with middle schoolers, so it can start conversations with them that way. They think it's funny and goofy. And one thing I did try to do, but I didn't get too much participation last year, so I'm hoping maybe a little bit more participation this year, is I asked my students to email me their own Bitmoji to be put on the wall around the room as long as it was class appropriate. And they did that, and it really helped develop community and such. But like I said, I'd like a little bit more participation this year. And it was really cool to have that decor of the students to see themselves in the classroom. And I've used my own Bitmoji on emails. So usually where my email signature is, I'll have my Bitmoji and information and such, and it's really cool, and it just adds personality. And I think with the pandemic that's been going on in the situations, a lot of teachers are seeing that they are either going to be teaching only online, they're going to be in a hybrid, or they're still going to be in the classroom. But even if you're in the classroom, I think a lot of teachers are going to be using a lot more technology than usual, just in case something was to happen as like a shutdown again in your state. But it also depends from state to state. So what my suggestion would be is for using Bitemojis in a different way is add them to your PowerPoint slides, because they're going to create community in a different way. The students are going to see you on those and such, even if you create videos, but like incorporate them in your slides to add humor and such, instead of, it kind of like jazzes it up on your PowerPoint slides. And even if you post an assignment, attach that picture to it and such, to just add your own personality and make a connection with those students. They really enjoy seeing those, and they use their own. If they have the social media app Snapchat, they use their own quite frequently to communicate. So I think that's a nice way and a positive way to build relationships with students you might not know throughout the year. And like I said, it's a pretty basic app. You just go in, you create your own avatar, and then you can add an extension if you use Google Chrome, which is what I prefer to use. You can add the Bitmoji extension, which will make it a lot easier for you to copy and paste into any document, PowerPoint slide that you might use throughout the year. So I think it's a pretty powerful but simple tool. And if you go back to the classroom, you can actually I've seen them in the past where you can make paddles for formative assessment. So if a student wanted to say A, teachers have put their own Bitemojis to represent the letter A on there. I've seen teachers make anchor charts with their Bitmoji to add some humor and such. And like I said, I have mine on my door to enter the classroom. And I've also used them for classroom jobs. I've put my Bitmoji on that. And like I said, it adds something that the students can relate to, and it adds your own personality as well, and it's just a cute little thing. So I think with this online interaction, it might be an effective tool to add a little bit, to jazz up the PowerPoints and such a little bit more that might be online. I hope that helps. It's a recommendation to use, and I think I'll be using it for myself during this situation because it can be pretty versatile whether you're in the class or online this year.
And there you have it, Edu-Magicians. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with your friends. For more Edu-Magic, check out sfessage.com and follow Dr. Sam on Twitter and Instagram @sfessage. Until next time, you have the Edu-Magic within you.